evening and welcome to this edition of the Village Square. Politics is a dirty game and we are coming to realize that in Abia State. The political terrain in Abia State is changing. The game of politics in Abia State is assuming an alarming dimension. It's assuming a dimension we never envisaged. The game of politics in Abia State has claimed its victim in the person of an elected local government chairman who was today removed from office as the chairman of a local government area, even when there is an order of perpetual injunction restraining the House from removing him. It started with the disagreement they had or still have in the PDP. Some aggrieved PDP members who feel shortchanged left the party and went to Abuja to organize a press conference, and they were led by Senator Enyi Abaribe. They included Ijine Enyi Nwoke, Chima Anyaso, Ginger Onwusibe, Darlington Nwokocha, Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke, and a host of other governorship aspirants as at then. They held a press conference condemning what was happening, and I still believe what they still say is happening in the PDP in Abia State. And when that could not yield any results, a number of them left the party and pitched their tents with other parties. I remember that Enyi Nwoke is now the candidate of YPP, governorship candidate. Chima Anyaso, deputy governorship candidate. Ginger Onsibe also left PDP and joined the Labour Party. Darlington Nwokocha also left and joined the Labour Party. I'm also aware that Senator Enyi Abaribe left PDP to join ALGON. That was where the problem started. Well, one of them who felt aggrieved, being the former chairman, I'll call him former because something happened today, left PDP, the platform on which he was elected the chairman of the local government area, that is Obingwa local government area, and joined another party. He wrote a letter to the governor, from what we are saying, informing him that he had left the party. Of course, he resigned as the ALGON chairman. Shortly after that, we began to hear a series of not too cheery news. He alleged that he was being threatened, his life was under threat. At the time, we were told that his security details were withdrawn. We were also told that he accused a former deputy governor from Obingwa local government area of being the brains behind all the things being done to remove him through the back door. I remember he also said that the the former deputy governor was recruiting the councillors to impeach him. He went to the extent to say that the signatures of the councillors were being forged. Last week, we had different groups that held demonstrations at Obingwa local government area calling for the impeachment of Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke as the chairman of Obingwa local government area. We're also aware that there were a lot of other underhand practices that were done. I don't know who did that, but that was the allegation. And Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke ran to the court. The court of competent jurisdiction, as lawyers would say, to obtain, I love that grammar, an order of perpetual injunction, restraining the House, that is the councillors, from impeaching him as the chairman of the local government area. And when we were thinking that that will bring the end to the crisis rocking the governor's own local government area, we are talking about Obingwa local government area, the governor's local government area, today the worst happened. The chairman, Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke, was removed. I am told that he was not impeached. He was removed. A lawyer is here to tell us the difference between removal and impeachment. Was removed as the chairman of Obingwa local government area, even when there is a substituting order of, what did I call it before? Perpetual injunction restraining his removal or impeachment. And today, the governor of Abia State, Dr. Ikechukwu swore in Mrs. Uloma Nwogu, who was until this afternoon the deputy chairman of the local government area, to become the substantive chairman of the local government area. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony held at the Executive Council chambers at Government House, Umuahia, Governor Ikpeazu said he was in receipt of a letter dated 23rd May 2022, written by the former executive chairman of Obingwa local government area, Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke, entitled Resignation of Party Membership. To that effect, therefore, the governor stated that in consonance with the laws guiding the Abia State local government system, the consequences is that Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke breached the provisions of Section 23, subsection 1F of Abia State local government laws number 2 of 2006. Hence, his removal as the chairman of Obingwa local government area. And today, Obingwa local government area has a new chairman in the person of Honorable Uloma Nwogu. Our spotlight this evening is on Obingwa local government area, the governor's own local government area. I will say that repeatedly. What is happening in Obingwa? What laws will permit, or under what circumstances can a local government chairman elected be removed? Does the governor have the power to remove a sitting local government chairman? What will be the consequences of this removal? And what is the way forward for Obingwa local government area? Can the removal subsist? These are the things we are going to discuss this evening on your program, The Village Square. And I have here with me one of my regular guests, Dr. Ikechukwu Mgborogwu. Doc, welcome to The Village Square.
Thank you very much.
I have here a lawyer who incidentally is also involved in other politics. He is the candidate for Aba Central State constituency on the platform of the Young Progressives Party. And that is the party that Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke joined when he dumped the PDP. And he is Barrister Chief Emperor Ogbonna. Barrister Emperor, you're going to give us the legal interpretation to all that. Well, meanwhile, welcome to the Village Square.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Abians.
Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot afford not to listen to the Village Square this evening. Barrister Emperor Ogbonna, the local government chairman of Obingwa, the former local government chairman of Obingwa local government area, was removed this afternoon when there is an order of perpetual injunction obtained from a court of competent jurisdiction restraining them from removing him, and he was removed this afternoon. What is happening legally? Is it legal to remove him?
Well, the fact remains that Ibe Nwoke, for in all intents and purposes, is still the local government chairman of Obingwa local government. He is. The governor does not have any power anywhere. The government quoted section 23, sub 1F. He never read to us what that section says. Since the governor was trying to justify what he did in usurping the powers of the legislature. Now, let me explain to you something. The local government in every state, they have councillors and they have chairmen. The section 7 of the Constitution provides that a government of a state must ensure that a system of a democratically elected local government system, local government is ensured. It's a constitutional provision which gives the governor and the government powers to ensure that we stop all these, what do you call it, transition committee of local governments. That is actually and if you look at the Nigerian law, Buhari himself had tried to encourage states,
autonomy,
states, and forcing them and making them to stop these transition committees. Because of that, I am aware that some states, the federal government has even stopped releasing allocations to some states when they have a transition committee. So it shows you that, generally speaking, the norm in Nigeria today is in consonance with the Constitution that provides that the local government system should be run by democratically elected persons. In Abia State, we had an election conducted by this PDP government. An election was that was actually a sham of a local government, a sham of election. In the sense that even in my own local government, Bende local government, there was no election in Bende. In the end, one Omuchekwa and one Promise Uzomukuru, they were sworn in as the chairman and deputy chairman, despite the fact that everybody in the states, everybody in Bende knew that there was no election in Bende. Even in Obingwa, they had the same problem. But I don't want to go there. Despite conducting the sham election, those people were sworn in as chairman and deputy chairman. Now, because of we know what happened. Abu Dhabi, whose name is Ibe Nwoke. He said he want to go for House of Rep. We know what happened. The 3-man committee set up by PDP was brought in. We saw the judgment of Justice Okorafor. Justice Okorafor made an interim order, an illegal order. Justice Okorafor made an order that endorsed the 3-man delegates. When the law is clear that it is the Federal High Court that has jurisdiction
over such matters.
Justice Okorafor assumed jurisdiction and made an interim order that gave the PDP the powers to use that 3-man committee to do their election. And in the end, we had so many people. We had Ncheta, we had Nana Wafo, we had Chishima Wafo, Chishima Anyaso, we had Abadibe. We had so many of them who did not like it. Before you know it, we had Ginger, we had so many of them. All of them decided to leave the PDP because of that 3-man committee that was used. After the 3-man committee was used, yes, some days ago, we heard that the same Okorafor, the judge, yeah, has struck out that case on the ground that he did not have jurisdiction. Now the question is this: if a court strike out a case and it is pursuant to that order that you made your election, what happens to your election? The legal implication is that PDP does not really have a candidate in Abia State by virtue of that court order being struck out, that court process being struck out.
So now,
coming in now to what's happening in Obingwa. The young man called Ibe Nwoke, he decamped to YPP and said he was going to contest election under the YPP. The next thing we heard was that the councillors have been taken siege by somebody. They mentioned the name of the person, a former deputy governor of the state. They mentioned
Achonwa Kama. Let's be specific.
Okay, they mentioned Achonwa Kama.
They mentioned this.
Yes,
it's in the public domain.
In the public domain, it's a news everybody knows. In the end, they said they want to impeach the chairman. The councillors appear to be popular with the chairman. They are all in line with the chairman. But somehow they said they want to do an impeachment. What happened? Ibe Nwoke went to court. Justice Ikechukwu, a judge, a very intelligent judge, one of the best in Abia State. Justice Ikechukwu analyzed the story, analyzed the case, and came up to the conclusion that there was no reasonable cause to impeach Ibe Nwoke.
Abu Dhabi.
Yes. The court made an order, a perpetual order, restraining those people from impeaching him, because the court knows that it is those councillors that have the powers to impeach Ibe Nwoke. And what did we hear this evening? That the governor said that he was acting pursuant to section 23, sub 1F. I was waiting for the government to read out to us that section. I have searched the law they're talking about. You have a law, you keep it to yourself. Now they said the governor they said he was acting that, look at his argument is that having resigned from the party. How can you tell me that having resigned from the party, that automatically the governor have removed him? I wonder the law that gives a governor a power to remove a serving member of a serving chairman. Now let me tell you something. The law is clear. If you want to remove a local government chairman, it is the councillors that will do it.
So the governor has no power?
I have not seen where a governor has any power. A governor is the governor of the state. The local government is a third tier of the government. On what ground would the governor leave Umuahia and come to Obingwa and assume the powers of the councillors and usurp the powers of the councillors and start impeaching and start removing a local government chairman? So what I'm saying is that this is unheard of. I have never heard this thing anywhere in Nigeria, that a governor removed a serving local government chairman, especially when there's a court order to that effect. The court order says don't do it. So what's happened today is something that I never knew that I would be alive to witness.
You have seen it. Dr. Mgborogwu, based on what the learned man here has said, he's learned, the rest of us are educated.
You understand?
So based on what the learned man has said, is it safe to say that the removal of Honorable Micheal Ibe Nwoke, Abu Dhabi, as the chairman of Obingwa local government area is null, void, and of no effect?
Thank you, the moderator. You see, prior to this program, we were saying something few minutes ago. I told you that the problem we're having in this country is that we are now running a company where somebody is the managing CMD. You are the chief executive of the company. So as a company, you are the MD, you have the powers to hire and fire. If it is not so, ordinarily, I don't see how somebody will wake up and said he has summarily dismissed an elected local government chairman.
But he cited a law. Don't forget that.
This
quote to us. I'm sorry,
this laws.
Let's see the governor quote to us in Abia State what that law says.
All right, Dr. Mgborogwu, go ahead,
Fine.
sir.
These laws that we are talking about is a local government law which should be authentic. And they cited...
And which cannot override the Constitution.
Which cannot override the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even Abia State law has never, they will always say subject to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is more superior. In other words, Mr. Moderator, I want to say it categorically clear that what took place today in Obingwa is illegal, is null, is void, is ultra vires.
Thank you.
And let me say this, sir. If you look at, there are two principles of law in Nigeria when it comes to fair hearing. The first principle is what they call audi autarem patem. It means hear the both sides.
Fine.
Okay.
Hear both sides. The second one is nemo judes in cosa sua, which means that no man can be a judge in his own case. First of all, what the governor did today is in breach of these two principles of justice. We all know that the governor had a running battle with the local government chairman. So the governor cannot say that he is impartial in whatever he did. He had a running battle with Ibe Nwoke. We all know that because he decamped on that party. So the principle of nemo judas in cosa sua is already infringed. Now the second one is the issue of all the alternate patem. How can you remove a local government chairman without giving him fair hearing? Fair hearing is a principle of law entrenched in section 36 of the Constitution. It says that for anybody, any tribunal, any group to take any step involving any person, that person must be given an opportunity to defend himself. On what ground would the governor stay in his house and remove a local government chairman without giving him fair hearing? What law are you citing? There is no, even if there is a provision of the local government law that gives him that power, that section of the local government law is inconsistent with section 36 of the Constitution that says that there must be fair hearing. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You cannot shave my head in my absence, even under Nigerian law. If you look at section 38, 308 and other section that which is impeachment of governor, impeachment of president, before you remove a serving governor, president, or any person, a committee is always set up by the chief judge.
But that is the case of impeachment.
I'm coming. Yes,
impeachment.
I'm coming. The chief judge not even the member of the House of Governor, sets up a committee headed by people who are of impeccable character. They would examine the case and know whether this man who you want to impeach, whether he did anything wrong. And the law said that they will invite him, he will come himself, or he will send a lawyer to defend him. That's what the law says. You give him fair hearing. How can you say in your house, say you received a letter? What if that letter? What if it was not written by him? What if it was not a letter he was written by him? Have you confronted Ibe Nwoke with that letter and shown him as the governor? Even if Nwoke says he wrote the letter, are you sure the letter you have in your hand is the same letter that Ibe Nwoke wrote? On the ground, you want to impeach him without giving him fair hearing. I'm telling you, that's section 23, which is relying on. I doubt what that section says. I look for the law. I've not even been able to see it. But even if there is anything, it is inconsistent. And the law says clearly that any law in Nigeria that is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution, that law is null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. So a law that gives a governor powers to impeach, to remove an elected local government chairman without giving him fair hearing. That law is null and void ab initio.
All right, Dr. Mgborogwu. There is something Barrister Emperor Ogbonna implied that, which in other words means that the governor did it to punish Abu Dhabi for leaving the party. Do you believe? Are you on the same page with him? That is what he implied. He didn't say, but he implied that for leaving PDP to join YPP.
Is it that certain things are very clear, very, very clear. The politics in this state, or in Nigeria by extension, is no more followed legally. It is now a business of victimization. I want to tell you that what happened today in Abia State is a simple thing. The governor want to punish Abu Dhabi, Ibe Nwoke, for leaving the party. But what he forgot is that there is a law guiding the process of removing him. Just like the Barrister Emperor has been talking to us, these laws gave room for him to be heard. He's not the first person that have resigned, let's put it that way,
from the party.
From a party. Even in this state, Enyinna Abaribe has resigned from
to join
PDP.
ALGON
He has resigned from PDP, resigned as the minority leader.
in the Senate.
Nobody has removed him from Senate. You know why? The process of removing
Stanley
him.
Nwoke also left.
Stanley
Ginger
Nwoke
Ibe left.
Ginger is still a member of the House. These people, even Ginger that is being, he's equally elected. None of them is
He's
appointed.
elected, yeah,
Just like Ibe Nwoke, he's been elected. None of them, because there is a process where if you want to bring back Abaribe, you start from his ward to start recalling him. You cannot, Lawan cannot stand up at the Senate and say, we have sacked Abaribe. Abaribe did what he was supposed to do and left. Which, let's take the letter that Ibe Nwoke, governor, said, based on the letter he sent, and the lawyer said, we have not seen the content of the letter. Even if we have seen the content of it, is it in consonance with the one Ibe Nwoke has? There should be ways of doing these things. But I said earlier that this thing is not being run. A state is not being run like a company. Where you see a governor to say, you know that I'm the chief executive of this state. You don't use that word, chief executive of a state. This is a state that is being owned by all of us. We contribute to everything that's happening in it. We pay our money. We live our security-wise, everything. We are part of it. If some of the decisions that are being taken arbitrarily should be taken, people should be consulted. There should be an open thing. This man has done this thing. You follow the normal processes. I spoke with the councillor. Let me keep his name silent.
Please do.
From this local government. He said so many things. And I was made to understand that even the removal was because the impeachment processes that the councillors were not in support. And that was the same person spoke about this captivity that we have been taken.
So what do you mean that when the impeachment failed, they had to resort to using
when
this
they now
law?
know that
Is
the
what it
impeachment
means?
will take them to 2023, they now resort to where governor is now putting. And this governor is a local government law that may not have been gazetted, that may not have had a white paper, that people may not have known. Because some of these local governments, I want to tell you, Dr. Nduagu, do you know that some of the local governments since 2011 don't have a law? They don't have a bylaw. I can mention the local governments have been that I witnessed how they gang up and just write something as a law, particularly when it comes to the government in power. They keep changing this, I keep citing. However, this thing, like I said, will not stand the light of
But
the
Mr.
day.
Emperor Ogbonna, is this removal a violation of Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke's rights, fundamental rights? And if you were Abu Dhabi, what would you do now?
Well, first of all, it is clear that it's an infringement of his rights. As I said earlier, there are so many things that are wrong here. First of all, there is a court order stopping his removal. Whether you call it impeachment or removal, the court order says stop all process. And that court is from a high court of Abia State, which order has not been set aside. 2, the governor quoted section this. He never bothered to tell us what that section says. You don't just quote section 23 sub 1F. Tell us what he says now. the law you're talking about, tell us what it says. He didn't say that. He just said what? 3. The issue of fair hearing. Fair hearing. The Constitution of Nigeria is supreme. Chapter 4. Chapter 4 of the Constitution is the most supreme part of the Constitution. That even the President of Nigeria cannot override chapter 4 of the Constitution. And even if you want to amend every law, the process of amending chapter 4 is so Herculean that it is impossible to amend chapter 4. Let me tell you why I say so. If you look at chapter 4, it deals with fundamental human rights. It is in line with the International Convention of Civil and Political Rights. It's in line with social economic rights. Nigeria is in line with international rights or the international human rights. What I'm saying is that chapter 4 is a duplication of international charters which Nigeria
is a
signatory to.
Yes.
So you cannot, nobody can change it. It's impossible. The reason why it's impossible to change it is that the way they did it is such a way that a tyrant cannot change it. That's what it is. Now, that section is clear on the issue of fair hearing. You're clear on the issue of representation. If there is any provision of the law that gives the governor that power, that section is inconsistent with the Constitution. So what I'm saying is that Abu Dhabi's or Ibe Nwoke's rights has been infringed. He should go to. Now let me tell you that thing. In Abia State, what's the name of this man? Abraham Oba decamped from ABGA
To
PDP.
What ABGA did was to go to court to ask the court to declare his seat
vacant.
If the governor cannot stay in his house and remove Abraham Oba because he decamped, just like the president cannot stay in Aso Rock and remove Engineer Baribe who decamped from PDP to ABGA. It's only the courts
Of competent jurisdiction.
What they should have done is to go to court, let the court make an order that by virtue of your changing party, that your seat should be declared
vacant.
Is it the governor that will declare seat vacant? This law I don't understand. So what I'm saying is that Abu Dhabi should go to court. He should go to court, and if I will not even go to court, I will make an injunction restraining that person. What do you call Ulak, or what do you call his name?
Uloma
Nwogu, from parading herself
As the
substantive chairman. I will also bring a court to freeze the account of Obingwa, because anybody who signs anything go out from that place is fraudulent. In fact, if it is me, I will use court order and cripple Obingwa local government. I will do it if it's emperor. I will do it, because what they are doing is brigandage. It is unlawful. So the truth remains that Ibe Nwoke is still the substantive. The governor or the government can use their powers to do whatever they want to do, but the truth remains that whatever they're doing there, to my own knowledge as a lawyer, is illegal.
Dr. Mgborogwu, if what this lawyer here, who is so angry,
is saying
is right, yes. I am not a lawyer yet.
Yes.
Who knows someday I could be.
Yet you have
intentions. I have intentions. If what this angry lawyer now is saying is anything to go by, is it safe for anyone to say that Honorable Uloma Nwogu occupying that office is occupying it as an illegal occupant?
You see, sometimes I just give a very straight answer. Yes, she's an illegal occupant of that position based on the Constitution.
So whatever thing she does, why there, if what Emperor said is right, it's null and void.
It remains null and void.
Yes. But Ogbonna, in your introduction, you mentioned very important thing about one order that was given and reversed, a judge giving an order saying, I didn't have the jurisdiction to have given that order. That is a 3-man committee, 3-man delegate, which has been reversed. What is the implication? Let's just visit that.
Implication
because you said that it means that PDP has no candidates. So I want you to elucidate that.
The implication is clear. That since the PDP was relying on that order
to conduct their elections, primary elections,
and that order has been declared illegal, it means that they don't have any candidates.
They don't have a governorship candidate.
Governorship, senator, House of Assembly, House of Rep. What it just means, let me just tell you what it means. There's a presumption of regularity favoring PDP right now. That presumption is that, well, we did it when there was a court order. Now that court order has been removed. It just requires somebody to go to court and declare that there is no 3-man delegate. Simple. You understand what I'm saying? They were relying on that court order. That court order has been removed. They are still relying on there. If somebody goes to court now, the person goes to court to show that what you did was pursuant to a court order, and it is that court order has been struck out. There is no court order validating what you did. Once it is done, it means that PDP has no candidate
at all.
It. So it requires,
what happened to APC in Zamfara and Rivers could happen to them.
That's what will happen. We are the thing is unfolding.
Obviously.
It's unfolding. What's happening in Obingwa is unfolding. I'm assuring you that very soon we are going to get that order.
Just like he mentioned, what it just needs is for somebody to just go to court.
To take up the responsibility.
Yes.
I want to assure you that something like that may have been on. You understand? It may have been on. Because even the PDP that is parading themselves, do you know that this illegality that they committed during this 3-man delegate thing consumed the head of the state secretary of the party?
Yes.
The state secretary
was the victim
he
of the
was
problem.
suspended because he said there was no
3-man delegate.
There was no delegate election.
There was no delegate election.
He lost his office.
And that it is being confirmed. INEC equally reported that they did not witness anything like that. They were not there.
And let me just add this. If you look at the order Justice Okorafor made, INEC was a party in the suit. Justice Okorafor made an order asking INEC to recognize these 3-man delegates. That was what the order is now. The order was all over the social media.
INEC abstained initially.
Said that they don't want to. So what it means is that if the courts have made an order showing that there was that order is no longer subsisting, it means that INEC can now revert back to its earlier position that there was no 3-man delegate in Abia State. It means that in the end, the court is likely to hold. The issue right now is that there may not be any PDP.
Because time will foreclose them.
You are aspiring to go to the House of Assembly of Abia State.
Yes.
As when you are in the house now and this thing is happening, what would you do?
I will move a motion to call the government to order. I will move. You see, the House of Assembly we have in Abia State now, with all due respect to them, is the most incompetent House of Assembly we have in Abia State in the history of Nigeria. These people locked up the House of Assembly for several months. They were just collecting allowances, collecting their money. They locked the House of Assembly for several months. Look at the illegality going on in this country. In this state, they cannot call the governor to order. Now let me tell you, the House of Assembly is the third arm, the
watchdog.
The watchdog of the government.
But this House of Assembly has failed in its responsibility. The only one person talking is Obi the cheater. That's the only person talking. And right now, I understand he's not even coming out again. Now, the Obi the cheater will tell you that they're owing him so much money. I was discussing with him. He told me that they have stopped paying him money. That the amount of money so you see that the government deliberately stopped paying this man his allowances. Mainly because he was speaking the truth about the government. So I'm just telling you what is happening in this state. Now this House of Assembly, as we have them today, let them bring me Emperor. I will defend myself that they have failed Abia State. This House of Assembly, headed by Chinedu, has failed Abia State, and the truth is that none of them ought to be recalled. None of them ought to be re-elected.
Do you think you can make a difference?
I will make a difference. Not only me, all the YPP candidates. We had a meeting. In the meeting, we made up our mind to bring Abia State out from the dungeon. YPP has young people, professionals.
I hope you're not campaigning.
No. I want to call him back.
You asked me a question. No, wait, man. You asked me a question. Let me just explain. YPP has young professionals. I'm not campaigning. You asked me a question. When we eventually take off this state, by God's grace, we take off this state. When we take off this state, we are going to show other states how to govern.
Okay.
Because we have young people who have good intention of Abia State. Not these people in Abia State government, in the House of Assembly, that cannot call the government to order. Look at it. They lock themselves up, collecting money for several months. They're not doing anything.
Thank you.
Dr. Mgborogwu.
Yes.
What do you see happening going forward in Obingwa local government area?
This Obingwa matter, Dr. Nduagu, is a very peculiar matter in the sense that this is Obingwa local government. It is not happening in Aba North or South, or Ogunabo or Arochukwu.
Why do you say so?
Good. I say so because if you look at this thing from the other angle, this is brothers' affairs. Obingwa, Governor Obingwa. The local government Ibe Nwoke, Obingwa. Every other person there, Obingwa.
Even the deputy governor who is being accused is also Obingwa.
The former deputy
former deputy governor
Obingwa.
Accused of being behind the whole thing is also Obingwa.
I don't know why they should be so anxious to conclude this matter within hours of this young man's resignation from the former party.
No, it's been long he resigned. Actually, he resigned in May.
He resigned in May.
Last month, 2 months
Fine.
ago.
Does it take between May and July, under normal circumstances, from all the tiers of government to remove somebody legally?
There is a law there. That is where my issue
This
is.
law is a local government law that is being made for the convenience of the chief executive.
For emphasis sake, that is, they say he breached Section 23.
The law have not said,
Subsection
the court of competent jurisdiction have not said he breached. It was or it is a mere assumption of the chief executive of the state to capitalize there to quickly
remove the chairman.
To enable him forge ahead.
Do you think that they removed him, for example, that is Abu Dhabi, because he was a threat to them politically in Obingwa?
Certainly now.
Do you need to ask him about that one? He's an insider. He was a teaching cabinet member.
And let me tell you something.
He knows how this government came up.
Nduagu, you were there on Saturday last week.
I visited and left.
When YPP was doing his rally. The moment they called the name of Ibe Nwoke, the whole place was as if it was going to collapse. The guy appears to be one of the most popular candidates, most popular politicians we have in Abia State. The young man, and not only him, let me tell you what happened that day. So many people they come to, so many PDP councillors, all from Mosisioma, Isialangwa, Obingwa, all these places, they all decamped. Not only one person. The man, they saw his towering stature, that he was going very, very high. What they did was to bring him down. But let me tell you one thing about life. If God has destined that you are great, nobody can bring me. I remember when some people conspired and put me in prison. But look at me today. Better off. So
now you were before you went to prison.
I was yes now. Who doesn't know emperor?
Maybe going to prison could be an interesting thing.
Some people or this government.
Is this government now?
If you say some
Is this
people,
government now?
we are not generalizing it.
Is this government? they conspired and put me away. But look at me here today. What I'm saying is that what's happened to me is what is happening to Abu Dhabi. But I'm telling you,
and he will come out of it.
He will
better.
come out of it stronger.
That is what you think.
Stronger and stronger.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been discussing the political brouhaha happening in Obingwa local government area. Here, Abu Dhabi himself, Hon Micheal Ibe Nwoke, the elected chairman of Obingwa local government area, was removed. And the government of Abia State is citing Section 23, subsection 1F of Abia State Local Government Law number 2 of 2006. That was what led to his removal. He wasn't impeached. He was removed based on the fact that he left PDP and joined YPP, which, according to the powers that be in the state, contravenes or breaches Section 23 of that law.
Hello.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Village Square.
Good evening, Matthew in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good today, very.
All right. Gani, he went on to Kechi.
We want to do the DJ they like even Matthew here in me.
Email.
What you people are doing, people they like here, and but they things exposed. Nowadays we are like I doing Matthew. Onye Abu Dhabi before a mayor impeachment. Honestly, they
Remove.
But Abu Dhabi, after Kua, Abu Dhabi are number 4.
Okay.
Abu Dhabi are number 4. All those local roads, Obingwa now, all Obingwa ladders. And the Tangwa, all those local roads, local government chairman when he get at least Sebaka, they came in. One thing now that life now. Other language where the camera it works.
Yeah.
All those three people na piani owo na me yawa yawa na afutala due to maybe etilere wa anya but o dey moti abida bi jo for ga the people Johnson make sia ayara people hunger people are cry one guy came this evening mega news so now every guy message I get kilo Obingwa na like something thousand even ara for local government man yes ma ga po no owuro kezi ala we step off that they run but brother ndere nya kande ndị hetiri ihe mere people ndị nya so it's not fair ọ go edere ndị odo oti a o na anya nwa ọ go edere so many people that claim on that la this government is made by
Ogerezola. Yes, Oga, I just want to reply you. First of all, you know quite well that Nigeria, but for some of the local government, you saw what that was saying. Some of the local government, it kind of would move for them with 1 naira as a joint action jack account. Before you know it, he this government chairman maybe 2 kobo compared to 1 naira matarahano. So don't really blame these people. Because when a local government doesn't get money, why would it work? Some of them cannot even pay their salaries based on a goal and a. So I'm not holding brief for Abu Dhabi, but don't be fooled by a local government.
All right, I think we have a press release. Okay. They didn't pay for it, but we are. This is the village square. Everybody's involved. Say, I, Honorable Micheal Ibe Nwoke, have received the news of the swearing in of my deputy as the new chairman of Obingwa local government area. We already have a court injunction which restrained my impeachment and added that if a removal offense has been committed, the due process must be followed. But it is surprising that despite not being impeached, a new chairman was today sworn in by the state government. We will consult our legal team for further actions. While we urge all our supporters in Obingwa and the entire Abia people, especially the youth, to remain calm as we seek legal redress to this illegality. As we all know that we have another mandate to represent Obingwa, this is political. So he has issued a statement that they are going to explore options. And one good thing is that they have urged everyone, especially the youth, to remain calm. We need a peaceful society. Our lines are on. We could take more calls.
This is Apostle Marvelous Donald.
Apostle, welcome to the village square.
Thank you very much. I want to really appreciate Barrister Emperor. He's my friend.
Yeah,
I like his brilliance and boldness. Please, my candid advice is for the chairman to sue the governor because he doesn't have right constitutionally to remove him out of office. So, if there's any how you could be reached the station or barrister could reach to him, let them tell him to sue the governor to court so that he will take back his position.
This Maxwell.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. My own take in this issue is that the Honorable Chairman of Obingwa should act fast, not wait the whole day, and then sue Abia State Governor to court and those that conspired, including Achonwa Kama, they will learn their lesson.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Ono talking.
Ono, go ahead.
Yes. Actually, what happened at Obingwa is very purely undemocratic and unconstitutional. The current local government chairman is an elected officer of the local government.
That is the former chairman because he has been removed.
Yeah, former chairman.
He's still the chairman.
The governor said. So, I think the due process must be followed because he has the legislators, which are the councillors. So, if whosoever wants to bribe the legislators and they couldn't remove the chairman, he remains the substantive chairman till the legislators remove him. So I didn't see any law whatsoever except that which will be voted out of office by the councillors.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you.
Simple and short.
As an engineer Chigozie Njoku from Aba here.
As an engineer, welcome to the village square.
I really appreciate and like what you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
You see, I'm very, very much concerned about the rascality of the governor and his agents in this Abia State. Nothing is so big politically and otherwise. They may have concluded that PDP is so big and hence it can do anything and get away with it. But the revolution is coming. I presume that YPP, Labour Party, and the rest of all these young political parties will give them the greatest shock of their life. Why should they remove a local government, an elected local government without due process? Somebody was saying that Dhabi didn't do anything. How much was he getting from the government?
Simple.
These are some of the issues. The rascality in governance as regards Abia State is getting out of hand and must be checked to avoid further deterioration of infrastructure and other things in Abia State.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Okay, my name is Micheal Ibe from Fox Road.
Go ahead.
What the governor did is not good because it's unconstitutional. He's supposed to follow constitution. If Buhari now should remove him or remove a governor for defecting, then say Buhari is this, Buhari is that. But we, on our own, we are doing it.
And he has no power
He's
to do
not
that
good.
anyway.
Yes, he don't have that power to do it. That's my view, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mgborogwu, your parting shot.
Thank you very much. At this point, I want to just say it straight. Every person should try and get their PVC, number one. And these PDP SSs should be checked. Not only
In Abia, nationwide. And my views here today, it does not represent
That of the radio station.
Ibe Nwoke or anybody.
Okay.
Personally, if he sees me on the road, he doesn't know who I am. But I can identify with him.
Thank you.
Those of you who are politicians, is the people that is...
Barrister Emperor Ogbonna, candidate of YPP for Abia Central State Constituency, your parting shot.
Well, I just have to tell something to the governor and all those people in power in PDP. Power is transit. It's ephemeral. It's temporal. You are here today, the next day you're no longer there. Always treat people the way that if they remember you the next 20 years, they would really smile. The way the state is being run, it is very discouraging. It's very, very discouraging. As we speak, everybody's on strike. Local government, teachers, everybody's on strike. Even right now, doctors are going on strike. So, I'm telling Abia State, we have to take back our state. Let's take back our state. Why
Thank
people
you.
still remain the only choice?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever views expressed on this show are the views of either the callers or the discussants. They are not the views of Real FM or the views of the Village Square or my personal views as the anchor. Thank you for being part of this show this evening. Let us do it again next week. Remain law abiding. I am Dr. Stanley Nduagu. Bye for now.